Hi, everybody. My name is Jill Siegler. I'm a senior consultant and cluster manager and service manager of Cyber Defense Center. And I would like to spend the next 20 minutes to present our MHP Cyber Defense Center to you. Thinking about last year, there was a large number of reports about companies that suffered from the pandemic. They were concerned about their employees, the future existence of the company, and so forth. However, you mustn't lose sight of the fact that this pandemic has entailed perspectives and solutions for digitization. One topic hasn't got enough media coverage, in my opinion, and that is cybercrime and the people behind it. These people have still been active during the pandemic. Every 39 seconds, a hacker successfully penetrates a system. This is shown in the massive increase of cyber attacks in the automotive industry. However, the focus is also on the suppliers. It is surprising to see that the amount of expertise is also increasing. In the first half of 2020, 36 billion data records have been stolen. A flat identification for companies is not available. However, in 2019, around 63% of German medium-sized companies were under attack. What's decisive is, however, the number of real attacks, because many companies do not communicate an attack to avoid damage to their reputation. They do not file complaints, and the damage incurred is not repaired, because legally they differentiate between civil law and criminal law. The increasing connection between the real world and the digital world also plays a role. And this increases the options for cyber criminals. Different to most movies where hackers make their claims very shortly after the attack, in real life, hackers don't do that. They try to get access to as much data as possible. They spend around 207 days on average before the attacker is recognized. So my question to you, Jochen, what do you think about recent developments? Thank you, Jill. Hello to Stuttgart from my side. Elusive is a cybersecurity company with its roots in the Israel military force, formerly offensively oriented cyber specialists spent some time thinking about how to stop cyber attacks. What is necessary? What is required to beat the attackers with their own means? So we help customers to defend themselves actively and to avoid attacks very targetedly and to make them much more cost-intensive and time-intensive. So, against the backdrop of the pandemic, the currently biggest problem is to become the victim of a ransomware attack, which is why I would like to refer to the following figures that have been prepared by Censuswide. 72% of companies with more than 2,500 employees fall victim to a ransomware attack once a year, and half of these companies pays money. The money claims have increased, and they are in the range between $1,000 and $150 million. Around 80% of the companies who pay that money fall victim to a ransomware attack one more time. So you need to ask yourself whether it is worth paying the price. And on average, these companies are offline for around 12 days, so you can already guess the damage incurred. MHP and Elusive together prevent you from falling victim to these attacks. Could you show by way of example how a cyber attack like that happens and how these attackers proceed? Yes, of course. So the best that companies like that can do is to constantly assume security breaches. That is the security breach approach. Important company assets need to be protected with an active defense mechanism. This means that the lateral movement of attackers need to be stopped by codification, and we need to avoid data extraction. So let's take a look at a common attack. For the attacker, it is easy to get to the first endpoint, to compromise it, and to use it as a starting basis. They will then orient themselves in the networks, identify the protective networks. So don't be misled.
Detection and Response 100% funktionieren, sondern weitere Informationen auch über
the attacker acquires further information via credential escalations of credited users. In most cases that make it into the news, it can be proven that this method can very easily be applied by the attackers. You were referring to the months and years that some hackers spend in corporate networks. Jill, can you explain how to defend yourself against that? So based on the facts, MHP set up the Cyber Defense Center in cooperation with Elusive Networks. We have everything we need to help you defend yourself against these attacks. Our Cyber Defense Center is based on Protect, Detect and Response. It describes the measures needed to protect critical infrastructure services. Detect allows the early detection of cyber attacks. And the information is then bundled in the information center and forwarded and processed accordingly. Response triggers coordinating measures to cushion the effects of a potential security breach. In general, these individual services cannot be separated strictly. Every service resorts to the next service and needs the other services. We will give you an insight into that service circle. We start with incident detection, that is monitoring in a fully or partly automated process continuously all the business transactions that are linked to the operating environment. This means that the infrastructure is reviewed for security-critical incidents 24/7 and responds to the corresponding signals. In incident analysis, we implement extensive analyses of certain situations. Our specialists identify artifacts and traces like data flow anomalies, and they differentiate between malware and harmless software. Advanced analysis looks into an even deeper forensic analysis to provide an attack file that proves the attack and detailedly describes the attack. The basis is reverse engineering. And the last point that I would like to refer to is incident response. This is the process to identify and evaluate cyber attacks. It is our goal to position companies in such a way that they can easily and quickly detect attacks and reduce them to a minimum. In order to provide the best possible service and protect our customers as good as possible, we work with a certain number of partners that support us, which is why we are glad that Jochen will present the Active Defense platform, and I would now like to give the floor to you, Jochen.
Danke, klar. Also,
thank you.
Uns jetzt noch mal an, was heißt Active Defense?
So, what does it mean, active defense?
In erster Linie mal drum, die
it is
reaktive Position,
about the reactive position that the responsive position that we often have as defenders. Here you see like a shield, green points and blue points in your network. This is our option, our unique approach to detect attacks at a very early point in time and to do that as reliably as possible, saving a lot of time and reducing the risk. The whole platform consists of these 3 points. So there are another 2 parts of the system: visualizing the attack surface and the attack tracks. Like this, we are eliminating the amount of information that the attacker would require to proceed with his attack or with their attack. The analyst in this Cyber Defense Center also gets a forensic timeline in real time while the attacker is still in the source system. So our customers appreciate very much the reduction of the defense time of up to 90%. Let's continue with the attack case. This time, the environment is also protected with the elusive defense system. So we are generating a wrong reality for the attacker. We tell them an authentic story in which the attacker cannot tell green from blue. So the attacker is facing an impossible task. They cannot make that decision of where to go to get to their targets. And once the attacker stumbles across the green bait information, like wrong credential or a prepared document and a go home function, for example, they trigger the alarm and the analysts can immediately start their work.
The
Active Defense platform perfectly integrates with the innovative approach of the tool landscape of the Cyber Defense Center. Of course, the cybercrime environment is continuously changing and requires adjustments all the time. It requires concerted action by everyone. Innovation, a leap in knowledge, and the right partners are key to success. In order to protect your systems, it is important to know the current status quo. Every company has individual requirements regarding the IT landscape. And to find that out, basically, how that happens, I would like to give the floor to you, Jochen. So we thought about how to get in touch with you after this talk so that you can bring your data and that you can use your own data to describe your environment, to implement effective risk mitigation, and to make your crown jewels visible. There is a lateral movement attack risk audit that we have prepared in cooperation. It is interesting for customers of all industries. We are focusing on the automotive industry a little bit more, and also given the current audit activities, ATS and MS, it might be of special importance and also relevant to you, which is why we would like to call upon you to get in touch and to talk about your individual cases, and we could then do this exercise together. I believe that the Cyber Defense Center and MHP have a very reliable partner to continue to develop strategies and solutions that are sustainable and tailor-made for us. It is our common goal to create added value and security for our partners. And cybersecurity is a very important part of the digital world. And we are available for you and for your questions. I would like to thank you for listening. Thank you for your attention. Enjoy the MHP Festival. Bye-bye.